Author's point of view. The old man shied, rubbing his forehead. He was tensed, and it was clearly visible on his face. Sir, this is my 12th complaint application against him, yet you are not taking any action. The girl's voice was serious, and disbelief was plastered all over her face. Miss Ryan, the principal began after taking a deep breath. I had already talked to him, but this time I'll talk to his father, I'll assure you. Please, sir, it's affecting my studies and it's really disturbing, Wine requested. The principal nodded and she left the office room after bowing him in respect. Done complaining. As soon as she closed the door, she met the 𝗵𝗵𝗁 𝗵𝗺 familiarly. There he was, the boy she complained a minute ago. He was leaning on the wall just beside the dean's office door, his sleepy inked arm using the cell phone, scoring something on it. He was unbothered. Just after putting his cell phone back on his jeans pocket, he finally looked at her, his eyes dark and deeper than the ocean. He knows that she complained about him again, but he never stops her because he wants to show her who is in control. He wants to show her that he can do anything with her he wants to. Damn, Cherry, why are you burning? Okay, let's go. I'll get you a cold drink. He tried to hold her hand, but she stepped back. Glaring at him, she walked past him, and she knows it very well that he will follow her. And walking behind her, Jungkook looked at her from head to toe. He loves walking behind her, like her own shadow. She was wearing a white simple frock with a red flower printed on it. She loves white. His eyes fell on a ponytail. She had tied her hair today. He didn't like it. He loved her open hair. His hand reached near her hair, and even before he could touch them, she turned around, showing him her index finger. Don't you dare, Jungkook. Jungkook chuckled, surrounding himself by raising his hand in the air, and she gritted her teeth at his nonchalant behavior. She entered her class, and he followed her behind, even though it wasn't his subject. He sat 2 seats away from her. He doesn't want to disturb her studies. Everyone was used to this, as this was an unusual thing now. The whole time, Wine couldn't focus in the class as his constant stares were drilling holes in the back of her head. Time skip. Wine was in the cafeteria with her friends as it was lunchtime. She was laughing at something until her eyes fell on Jungkook, who was staring at her from not so far. He was with his friends. Finding her staring at him so long, he winked at her. Bastard, she muttered, and he laughed at her. Focus here, Mr. Romeo, his friend laughed. Jungkook looked at his friends who were having their lunch. He opened a can of cold drink, sipping it. You can't get her just by staring at her. Jimin spoke, but Jungkook didn't pay attention to it. And besides, your father will never approve this. Jungkook put the can down, leaning on the table, closely staring deep into Jimin's eyes. He replied, I don't care. He glanced back at her again. She was having her lunch, focusing on her friends. I'll get her, no matter what. And no one can stop me. Wine walked out of university with her best friend Mishu. They both were talking just like other students who were going back their home, beating by to their friends. A group of boys were chatting, and one of them was Jungkook. Their eyes met, but she ignored him and kept walking. Just 2 weeks, and I don't have to watch this face and tolerate this nonsense. She spoke to Mishu. And I'm sorry, but you have to watch this face for the rest of your life. He had followed her, and she shut her eyes closed tightly. Stop following me, then stop ignoring me. He held her hand, but she quickly wrote it away. Don't touch me, she glared at him, and Jungkook shut his eyes closed to calm himself down. Her rejection aches him. Listen, I don't know what are you trying to do, but I'm just doing the process to reach there. He pointed at her heart, and then he took a step ahead. And then give you my... Wine got speechless for a moment. Jimin also raised the same. He looked at Mishu beside Wine and gave her a cheeky smile, at which she rolled her eyes. Wine looked into his eyes and spoke. I'll never accept you. I don't care. Go to hell. Sure, if you accompany me there. Before Wine could say something to him, Mishu grabbed her hand, dragging her away. Let it go, Cherry, both of them are... Jungkook's eyes followed her till she was out of his vision. Wine reached back her home. After freshening up, she went to kitchen to have something. There was a stick note on the fridge, and it says, Don't wait for me at the dinner, I'll be late. Sleep well, my little princess. Wen smiled. It was from her father. She wanted to eat something spicy, so she decided to make pasta. Wen's father was a journalist and a superhero for her. Her father was her inspiration. Her mother died when she was young. She didn't even remember her face, but she actually never missed her that much, as her father took her place. She says everything to her father like a best friend except one thing. In another cases, she definitely would have told her father about the things going on in her life, but not when Jungkook is the reason behind it. She never wants her father to confront Jungkook or his father again. Thinking about Jungkook, she's shy. She doesn't know why he's doing this 2 months. It's been 2 long months since he's after her. Hard to believe the boy who hated her to the core was now not letting her breathe. He said he wants her, but why? Is this a new way to take revenge on something she didn't do, on something that happened years ago? Her head started hurting, thinking all over it again. Jungkook, I swear you're a human version of her. After a few days, Wine and Mishu was studying in the library as not much time was left in their final exams when a boy approached them. Senior. He grabbed their attention. They both looked at him and then at each other. Yes, Mishu replied, but he looked at Wine and said, Wine someday, can you help me with this question? Wine hesitated first but nodded, and he sat beside her and she started explaining him as this was her subject. Unknown to her, the boy was desperately trying to get closer to her as he had accepted a dare to touch Jungkook's girl. He looked back and his friends were giving him thumbs. Someday there is something on your face. As he touched her face, he was pulled back harshly as with a strong punch he landed on the floor. Wine got stunned for a moment. She looked up to find Jungkook with fire in his eyes, and he wasted no time in huffing other than showering him punches. Everyone in the library got scared seeing him brutally beating the boy, and the boy's friends already ran away after seeing Jungkook. Jungkook stopped. Wine tried to stop, but he was unstoppable now. Wine held his hand in utmost fury. Jungkook turned around to punch the latter, but stopped seeing her and the hate in her eyes for him. They both were now standing in the dean's office. Jungkook's knuckles were bleeding, but he was unbothered. The dean was rubbing his forehead to ease the tension. Mr. Jen, I already warned you. Then why are you creating problems for Miss Wine again and again? Wine was silent whole time. She can't get the image of that bloody boy out of her mind. He was beaten black and blue, yet the boy beside her had no regret. He was calm and composed like nothing happened. Mr. Jen, why did you do that? The dean asked formally. He touched my fiancé. He spoke formally. I'm not your fiancé. Wine was quick to correct. Oh, you are, darling. Mr. Jen, behave. You are in my office. The dean scolded him. Sir, the boy made a bet to touch her. So you will beat him this bad. Wine looked at him. I'll kill him, he greeted. And you know what he said next? I'll kill him, Mrs. said, and Wine was shocked. Mrs. chuckled, seeing her soft face. Oh, come on, I can't expect him to stay silent after witnessing him doing crazy things for you lately. They were waiting for the bus. The bus station was crowded with almost 7-8 people, but I think this time what he did was absolutely right. Wine looked at her in disbelief. I mean, who would stay silent after witnessing other man touching his girl? I'm not his girl, Wine said loudly, catching everyone's attention. Oh, okay. And did he accept that? Mrs. reply made her roll her eyes on annoyance. A blue sports car stopped in front of them, and they would consider themselves blind if they didn't recognize the car. Get in. And the owner as well. Get in the car, Cherry, he said gently. Stop calling me that. She hates when he called her by her nickname he used to call her in their childhood. So many bitter memories are connected to it. Jungkook chuckled. Okay, calm down, Red Cherry. But am I saying get in the car and I'll drop you and your friend? We have left Mr. Jan, so no thank you. She looked away. Jungkook gritted his teeth. Now he was losing his passion. Get in the car and I'm asking you nicely, otherwise if I come out, I'll drag you forcefully and you know very well I can do it and definitely do it. Give it a try, Mr. Jan. I can slap you and you know it very well too. I'm capable of it and I'll definitely do it. Well, Wine also never learned to shut her mouth either. They both were very sorry, challenging each other by their eyes until the bus siren broke. She grabbed Mishu's hand and got into the bus. Jungkook's sharp eyes followed her until the bus drove away. He looked angry. Mishu spoke, sitting on the window seat. And he is not, Wine replied. But Michu's words were half cutted by a loud tire screeching sound. What happened? Everybody looked at each other. 𝗵𝗠cy, Wine said, and Missy looked out of the window, and it was the same blue sports car standing in front of the bus. What happened? Wine asked again, but before Michu could reply, Jungkook entered the bus. Wine looked at Jungkook, who was looking furious. Before she could understand anything, he walked to her and grabbed her wrist tightly. Told you, I'll drag you. He pulled her up, dragging her with him out of the bus. Jungkook stopped. Mrs. spoke, but his glare was enough to shut her mouth. He looked into Wine's eyes, daring her to remove the hand he held authoritatively. Everybody was looking at them, but nobody tried to interfere. And obviously, Jungkook didn't give a fuck to it. Jungkook leave Michi jerked his hands away and tried to walk away when he picked her on his shoulder effortlessly. Okay, this was too much for her to handle. Oh, look at you, so red. Is your blood boiling? It should be. After all, we both have same blood group. He smiled at her. She looked away from him. Don't turn your face away from me. I hate it. Why are you doing this, Jungkook? Knowing very well it's never gonna happen. Her voice was soft this time. She looked at him, waiting for his reply as he was driving. After a long pause, he replied, I'll always get what I want, so you don't need to think of it. And besides, I don't believe in never, he said. And I don't believe in always, she countered back. Well, opposite attracts, never, she gritted her teeth. Always, he winked at her. Reached your destination, madam. She removed her seatbelt and came out of the car. He came beside her. Won't you thank me? She glared at him. Oops, I forgot. You only cursed me. She walked away from him, but within a second she was pulled back and was pinned to his car. Jump, jump. He smashed his lips on her, cutting her words. Her entire body froze. He didn't move his lips. It was just a... This was your punishment for disobeying me earlier, he said, pulling away. She looked at him, probably wanted to shout at him or maybe slap him, but the desire and affection twinkling in his eyes stole all her words away. He kissed her cheeks and drove away, but she stood there with it bracing her. She looked here and there, terrified, but to her feet nobody was there. She walked ahead, but again looked at the way he just drove away. At night, Jungkook was swimming in his infinity swimming pool. He swam to the edge and rested his back there. His hair was completely wet, giving him an ethereal look. He closed his eyes and hid his smile a little. Then he remembered how she looked when he kissed her. He touched her lips, which still had that feeling when he attached his lips to her. He was glad that she was first kiss. A few months ago, someone had told him that he would cook this crazy for a girl, that too for why, and he definitely would have died out of laughter. But now, it's the reality of his life. He had that crazy smile, pushing his wet hair back. That's when a servant approached him. Young master, sir is calling you. Jungkook noted. He came out of the pool and wore a navy blue robe. It was nothing serious, Dad. It's serious than Jungkook. It's serious because the girl was none other than YE. His father said loudly. Dad, Jungkook tried to speak, but his father didn't let him. He even said that she complained about you, that you're bothering her. I don't call that bothering, actually, he replied calmly. What are you trying to do? His father was losing. I want her, and I'll get her no matter what. Your son have gone crazy. Mr. Jan looked at his wife in disbelief. Yes, about her and everything she does. Jungkook smiled a little. Jungkook, his father shouted loudly. He was beyond angry. Do you even realize what are you saying? She's our enemy's daughter. I will never let that happen. You can never. I don't care that. She was mine even before she was born. We are promised to each other even before our birth, and it will go this way only. And besides, I think this is the time you should fulfill your parents first. Dad, I'll marry her after our graduation, he declared. What the hell did you just say? You heard me. I won't let that happen, his father threatened him. We will see, Dad. With that, Jungkook turned around to leave, but his father stopped him. Why her? Why her out of all girls? Why anybody else when she exists? He replied and walked away. Wine sat with her father in the living room of her house. His father was holding the album and they both were having fun time watching the old time. Dad, look, mom is looking so beautiful in this. Wine sat smiling. His father hummed. He pointed at a picture at which Wine was too young and was making a cringe face. And Wine laughed. He flipped the next page and her laugh contradicted. It was her and Jungkook's childhood picture. Her father noticed her and it was your grandpa's anniversary the day we clicked this picture. Look how cute you both are looking. She looked at the picture. They were holding each other's hand and smiling. She was 7 years old at the time. It was so peaceful. She used to call him Bunny for his cuteness, but now when she looks at him, there is nothing like that Bunny in him, just Jungkook. Jungkook. She still remembers how they both got separated even when they were promised to each other. She still remembers how painful that moment was when she got separated from her best friend. He was her everything. And years later, when she met him again, she hoped that he would not treat her as his enemy, but he did worse, insulting her and bullying her for something she didn't do, taking his frustration out on her for something which happened between their fathers. After graduation, Wine was at Mish's house. They were having great time together, talking about them and world. The sun was already set. They were having pizza when her phone rang. It was an unknown number. She thought before picking up, as she was getting a lot of calls from unknown number. Hello, I miss you. The voice was just like, not again. She got call immediately and blocked him. Misha, I think I should go. It was 9:45 p.m. Misha noticed and while at her house. She was walking towards bus station. It was slippery as it rained a few hours ago. It was dark and not much cars were moving there. She was walking, humming a song when a loud thunking jolted her. Oh God, it looked like it will rain again. She started walking faster. That's when a car from behind came as a bullet and splashed the dirty road water on her. Are you blind? She shouted loudly and the car stopped a few meters away. She looked at the two boys came out of the car and she feared. Her eyes set down. Ivan, she knows them. They studied in the same college, and how can she forget such spoiled, rich brats and the enemy of the great Jungkook? They approached her. Oops, look who is here, Jungkook's little girl. They looked a little bit drunk, and it didn't feel good to her. She ignored them, walked past them, but they blocked her way. They are not done, Ryan, Jake spoke this time. Move away, she warned them. Ivan chuckled. You just called me blind, don't you? And besides, I always want to talk to you, but that motherfucker never let me.